Let's talk about ImagingUSA 2024. This is ArtIsRight. Before we start, subscribe if you're new and hit on the bell icon so you'll be notified every time I upload cool new videos like this. I'll be sharing with you my thoughts about ImagingUSA. This will be a review of the conference and it will give you a feel for what it is like to be there. If you're unfamiliar with ImagingUSA, it's an annual photography conference that's put together by Professional Photographers of America. So these are a group of photographers that are running PPA and they are putting together this conference. So it's really by photographers for photographers, which is the one really great thing about this conference. Now, in general, ImagingUSA are going to be on the East Coast of the United States. For example, this year was in Louisville, Kentucky. Next year will be in Grapevine, Texas, which is more center of the United States, but that's, I would say, more of a rarity than anything else. With these conferences, you're going to get so many things. There are classes that you can attend. There are trade shows that you can really meet many of the vendors and see many products that are out there. There's also imaging competition and many other variety of things that you can really experience here. Now, the other thing that I also want to talk about as well is the focus or the genre of photography that's there at ImagingUSA. Majority of the classes you're going to see there are going to be focused on portrait photography. There's going to be some other classes sprinkled in as well, for example, on weddings, on events and so forth. And this is part of PPA trying to broaden appeal of this conference in general, but mostly you're going to find portraiture. Now, is that a bad thing? I wouldn't necessarily say so. It's really great if you're doing portrait, but if you're doing other genre of photography, you can still attend a conference because, as I mentioned already, trade show is really a great place to see many of the products. And one thing I want to mention about the trade show as well is they also have a learning area on the trade show too. So even if you have an expo only pass, you can really go in and sit there and learn from some of the speakers that are also speaking on the trade show as well. However, if you want to go on the full track classes, you need to be registered for the conference for that. All right. With that being said, there's another conference as well that is more of like, I would say, a loose competitor to ImagingUSA, and that is Wedding Portrait Photographers International, WPPI. Their annual convention is in Vegas and is coming up in a few weeks here. So I'll also be visiting that conference this year as well and giving you my review. So if you're thinking about going to one or the other, now you're going to have a comparison on my channel this year. So that will be good. And before we go on with anything else, I want to give a quick shout out to every one of you at the conference who have come up to say hello, who have come to ask me questions about color management. Thank you so much who have taken selfies with me. Greatly appreciate those. Love the tag that you're doing and love the enthusiasm that you are having about this topic in general. So thank you so much. And the next one, like I said, I'll be at WPPI, so definitely come by and say hello, although I'm only going to be there for the first 2 days. So a little quick FYI there. All right, there are, I would say, a few vendors that I want to call out that are really awesome. One of the companies that I want to shout out to is SMDV, and they are showing a new product called the Banta. And the Banta is kind of like one of those curved reflectors that you put under someone in front of their face per se when you're doing a portrait. Now, traditional ones takes a lot of setting up and you have to really just put things together. They really engineered something really awesome. And if I can show a picture of it in this video, I will, but I know I'm going to be getting a unit into my studio in about like a week or two. So I'll definitely be doing a review of that, which I think is going to be really awesome. So if you see the picture of it, that means I'm cleared to put the picture in. If not, you will have to wait for a few weeks to see it in the review that's coming on this channel. So make sure to stay tuned for that. Another company I want to really shout out that I thought was really cool was a company called Candid now. So pretty much they have a camera that's linked to an iPad and it's pretty much AI based. They'll take your picture randomly throughout the event. But the first time what you do is you would enroll yourself by tapping your face, tapping your phone number, and for the rest of the evening, somebody else can take your picture, is using AI to identify you, I believe. And what that's going to do is just text you the picture automatically a few minutes after it is being taken. It's really cool, although I think they may be trialing the technology at a moment in time because I am getting pictures of other individuals that are not me, that doesn't even look like me, but apparently I'm getting their picture as well. So I think there may be some refining that they have to do still, but that's also really awesome. Now, the great thing about going to these conferences, being that it is a photography one, is that all the camera companies, or many of the camera companies, are there. Now, the one that are really coming out big this year was Sony, so Go Alpha. And I want to give a quick shout out to Sony Pro Support as well. And this is something that Sony has always done consistently. They have a separate Pro Support room that if you want to try out their gear, you don't have to be a Sony shooter. You can really go, show them your ID. They'll loan out their gear for a day. You can check out the camera, you can check the lens combination. get a feel for what their camera system are like. And I think that is really awesome, because this is something that I will say Sony have done consistently to really get people acquainted to the brand. I think that's just really great. Canon's also out there, and they have an area where you can see the camera, the lenses, and so forth, but they also show off 2 of their new upgraded large format printer as well. And my friend Eric Joseph was also there too for their launch and everything, which was really great. Now, Eric Joseph is at Freestyle Photography. He does a lot of inkjet printing. He is the expert in the area. I'll leave a link to the website in the description below if you want to find out more about that. So Nikon was also there as well. And one thing that was really interesting to note about Nikon is many camera companies like to be at the entrance, but Nikon is in general on the back of the trade show, and they are getting their booth fairly packed with live streaming programs that are doing all day long. So they're also there as well, which is also great to see. There are other camera companies too. For example, Panasonic was there, Fuji was there, and all these companies in general will be partnering up with a camera store such as BH or Pixels, and they would have a small table there at the booth, so you can still find out about the product, but they're not necessarily going to have the large presence where they have their own booth and send, you know, a whole bunch of support staff there, which I totally understand, but at least those companies are there, which are great to see. Now, the other thing why we would go to any conference like this in general is to find labs. So a lot of big photo labs, the big heavy hitters are there. Bay Photo was there, H&H was there, White House Photo was there. So Miller's, that was another big one that's also there, which is also really great to see. So you get a chance to see what they are really producing now at the lab. You get a chance to see all the different paper texture, all the different metal print textures and all these things. And it's really great to see, like I said, everything all in one place without having to order a sample copy and everything. You get to see so many variety of the products that they have to offer. With that in mind, we also have camera companies, as I already mentioned. BH is out there in full force. You get a chance to see album, because this is, again, portrait and events and weddings and so forth. So many of the companies are out there with Graphy, Red Tree, Vision Art, Xeno, and I'm sure I'm missing a few other ones as well, but many of these companies are there so you can view the different albums that they have in the lineup. As far as software company goes, I was rather surprised to see Capture One showing up at this event, but it's also very interesting as well, because if you do these type of portrait or any type of shoot where you need tethering in general, Capture One is definitely going to be a really good software to use in that regard. As far as the main theme this year, what I'm seeing a lot with a different company is that everyone is really going deep into AI. Now, what's really interesting about AI that I want to clarify is that sometimes AI in photography enhancement, it comes into 2 different things. Whether the model is being run on the computer on, for instance, the neural processing engine or the neural processing unit, the NPU, or whether it is a model that has already been pre-programmed using AI and is only identifying those things and applying the generic correction to it. I got a chance to talk with a company called Iodo, and they reached out to me already to do a video review of their product. Pretty much, they are an AI image enhancement. The AI models from their company has already been pre-trained. So what you're really doing is you're applying those models on the pre-trained already to the pictures that you have. It's kind of almost like a Lightroom editing, but with a lot more enhancement per se. They're out of Singapore. I thought was very interesting. If you'd like to see a review of their enhancement, do let me know, because I am interested about doing a video with them. All right, so you have all these other random photography companies as well, such as Spider Holster. These are the belt thing that you can clip your camera on. Photography insurance, this is going to be mostly US based. You have lighting company like Ellen Chrome, Nanlite, Godox are out there. Profoto is with a boot in the company, but so you get to see all those different varieties that are there. Zhiyun was there to show their different gimbals, some of the LED lights they have. Newer products were there. Tether Tools are out there showing you the different tools that they have. For example, the different cables, talking about the different workflow integrations that they have. And if you do tether capture, I highly recommend checking out Tether Tools, because it's really awesome, because they come up with all these customized solutions for tethering your camera. Yes, you can plug in a USB-C cable to your camera now and just link it to your laptop and work, but their cables, you can go longer. There are different harnesses that prevents you from pretty much just yanking the cable out of the camera. I thought those things were really great, and they also have a software as well, which I have been testing out, that pretty much makes tethering Sony camera very easy, because you install this plugin and now you can pretty much tether capture to Lightroom as if it is like a native thing that Lightroom has with Canon and Nikon. So that's another great thing that I want to give a shout out to as well. Now, one of the things that I'm really surprised to see here was there is a company called Gravity Drop, and what they do is a painted backdrop. Now, if you do any type of photography headshots, sometimes you have clients that want painted backdrop, and those are really difficult to find nowadays. So Gravity Drop is a company that have those still, so you can get those. And if you want to go with something lighter, I would say more modular, Westcott also makes a pretty good backdrop system as well. I think the large one is called like the X Drop, which I am looking to implement in my own headshot that I'm doing right now. All right, many lens company are out there, the third-party ones. So you have the Tamron, the Sigma, really showing out there. And there are a few, I would say, third-party lens manufacturers as well, although we did not see Laowa there this year, nor did we see C-Ray or anything like that. But there are, like, I think one Chinese lens manufacturer company that was showing a lens mask for Leica. And to which I gone up and asked them, like, hey, do you have something for Sony yet? It's like, no, we don't. We just only have this one for Leica. It's like, well, you know, you can really come show out the lens, but if you don't have the full library yet, it may not be the best investment. So a bit thought on that. We have paper company, Honda Miller is there. It's really great to see different papers linking up with a company again. Platypod. Now, if you've been using Platypod before, it's really big in nature photography. They were there showing the different products. And they also have the tripod head that has the electronic leveling and everything. You can see when it's level, you can use a one-hand operation. It's also an upside-down tripod. I thought that was very interesting. I remember them launching this on Kickstarter a while back. Haven't looked into it much, but having one of my friends going over that and just showing me the benefit of that, I thought that was really cool. So I'm going to see if I can get one in to do a review. There are some camera bag company, but one of the big companies I'm missing out on is Peak Design. I wish they were there. So yeah, that's kind of a thing. So I'm pretty sure there are many other vendors there that I may have not mentioned. Oh, one more company I want to talk about is ShootProof. So ShootProof was also there as well. Got a chance to meet their support team like in person. And a lot of these, you know, you end up going to these conferences for a trade show to see products, to meet the people that you have been interacting with digitally all this time, and now you get to meet them in person. It really put a face to a name, and it humanizes a lot of interaction that you do. And that's the one big thing that I really love about this. And the other thing too is that they also bring like the big lens, like for example, the 600mm, I believe like f5.6 or f4 or something like that out, the fixed aperture one. And you get a chance to see that from different companies that many times you go to your local camera store, they might not have that in stock because those lenses are generally really expensive. So you get a chance to really get your questions answers and doing so many things. All right. Last thought about the show. This year, I think the show was a little bit smaller than last year. However, I would say that the quality of the attendees are really good. And for me, this year, I was there in the official capacity to support BenQ, and BenQ was really showcasing two of their new displays that they launched last year. That was the SW series. That's the hardware calibrated display with 99% Adobe RGB for photographers. That is a 272U and the 272Q, so the 2K and 4K, and we also have a 32-inch there as well. And all these screens now are matted. It's like looking at a matted print. It's really awesome, and it saves a lot of time. Instead of explaining to people what this is like, they can really come up to the display, shine a light on it, and see exactly what it is like. So anyways, this is my thought about ImagingUSA. I think it's a good conference. I think the size is pretty good still. You still get a lot of good camaraderie. You get to meet other photographers. It's a really great networking event. The one other thing I want to note about ImagingUSA as well is that during the trade show hours, majority of that time, they do not have classes running. And I think this is really awesome because it will give you time to really go meet with the vendors and go see the different products that are out there. So this is something that's really opposite of WPPI, where I see tracks pretty much running the entire day, and sometimes you want to go to a class and it's in the middle of a trade show and you got to pretty much leave that area to go to a class and then come back to it, and you know, it does eat into the trade show hours a little bit. So just something to think about there. Anyway, like I said, I'll be at WPPI for 2 days in a few weeks. Definitely, you know, run into me at a trade show, come by, say hello. A couple of places I'll be at for sure is a company called Spring Distribution, SMDV. I'll be spending some time there talking about their softbox system, which I think are really awesome, and I'll leave a link to a video in the description too. This way you can check it out. But anyway, I have already been sharing a lot here, so I'm going to leave it at this point for now. If you have any questions or comment, leave them below. And throughout this week, hopefully I'm going to have some review of the Apple Vision Pro that I'm getting on my channel as well, so I'll be giving you some of my thoughts on that. But anyway, give this a like, subscribe, and hit the bell if you're new, and in art we trust.